David is such a beloved character, and rightly so. He was, after all, the man after God's own heart. That's a little amazing considering the sins he ended up committing later on, but we'll talk about that in a future Bible glimpse. Today, I want to concentrate on how David was viewed by his brothers. In 1 Samuel 17, 28 through 30, we read, "Now Eliab, his oldest brother, heard when he spoke to the men, and Eliab's anger burned against David, and he said, 'Why have you come down? And with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your insolence and the wickedness of your heart, for you have come down in order to see the battle.' But David said, 'What have I done now? Was it not just a question?'" Now, there are four things that stand out to me in these verses. First is his older brother's anger. The second is David's persistence. He doesn't back down. The third is his brother's disregard for David in the family unit. He says, "With whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness?" Is he saying his father is poor and doesn't have much? That's the unintended implication. In truth, he's just trying to say, you have an insignificant job, you need to go back to it. With that, we could talk about watching our tongue. But fourthly, I see David saying, "What have I done now?" That leads me to the possibility that Eliab regularly criticized David. Whether Eliab became bitter with jealousy after David was anointed, or this was just an ongoing antagonism, you know how siblings are, we can't really know. However, I do know this. Being useful in the Lord's service wasn't about being the firstborn. Who knows who Eliab was? It wasn't about being in the army. How many of those soldiers are ever named? It wasn't even about knocking other people down to make yourself look big. We call that bullying nowadays. David became great by quietly seeking the Lord in a secluded pasture, composing psalms to sing about the Lord's care, glory, and blessings. True greatness comes from the Lord, not our own talents, but sometimes we just can't see that.